Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello friends, in earlier videos we completed exercise 1.1 and we did properties of addition and subtraction of integers, and we've completed few examples as well after discussing the concept of the properties which we have for integers as addition and subtraction. Now we move on to the exercise, which is our second exercise, exercise 1.2. So let's start up with the very first question which we have. Write down a pair of integers whose sum is -7. Since we've already discussed these kind of questions, I would love to if you come up with your pen and paper and solve these parts yourself. I'll just give you 5 seconds. Try it yourself if it works. Okay, so let's say we need the sum is -7. So I can take any of the number, let's say 2, and I need sum. So I can take the next number as -9 to make it as -7. So this could be one of the pair of integers, and we discussed it in example as well. So it depends what you discussed, what you are thinking that way. So you can take any of the number, first number, and then you can write down the sign of sum, and then to find out the final answer you can write down that number or that integer accordingly. Now the difference is -10. So if its difference is -10, you have one or two options. Maybe what we can do is I can just take -3, and I can, since it's the difference, so I need minus as well. So I'll write -3 -7. So these are two integers. Now when I solve it, I'll get -10 only. Or let's try if it works for the another number. So let's say we have 3. Right, I've taken 3, a positive number, and I need minus sign because there will be difference it should be having. So what should be the next number to get the answer is -10. That will be 13. So now these two will be the integers, and over here the 7 and -3 will be an integer. So you can get lot many pair of integers so that you can solve it up, but keep that in mind. Whatever first number you will be taking, integer you will be taking, the sign will be according which they are asking for, and then for the second number you can work out accordingly. Let's say if sum is 0, so the simple thing which I can tell you about is -5 plus 5 or -2 plus 2, because they're asking about sum. So you just need to do it this ways. Now let's move on to the second question. The first part says that we need to write a pair of, keep that in mind, it says negative integers. So we want two negative integers only whose difference gives 8. That means I'll be getting some negative integer over here, and I should be getting a negative sign in between. Then only I should get 8. So let's just give it a try. If I've just marked it as 2 over here, so if I'll just check this out, I'll be getting -2 plus what should be over here so that I can get 8. So here it should be 10. So let's say if we can just take some other example. So 1 minus over here and 1 minus over here. So let's say I counted up -4. Minus will become plus. So what do I need over here to make it as 8? I need 12 over here to make it as 8. So that is the only thing. You can finalize these things and you can come up with the example which we have. So -4 and -12. Once we'll solve it, we'll get 8 as our 8 as our answer. Now the second question says, now we need a negative integer and a positive integer. So one will be positive, one will be negative, and I need sum as -5. So let's say I've just taken one negative integer over here and plus, and I'll be getting something which will be positive so that I can get -5. So what I did is, I've just taken, let's say, 2 over here, so I'll get -2. I need -5. So wouldn't it be -3 over here? Yes. But now tell me something, don't you get both the signs as minus? But I am looking for something which is positive and a negative integer. So let's just give it a try. If I get 5 as a positive integer and plus I need in between. Now the second integer, to know it as -5, I can write it as -10. I'll be getting -5. Let's hit and try. You can give it a try of the pairs which you have, and after trying 1 or 2 times, you will get the final answer which you are looking for. So just think before you do. So again, we can write it down like if it's 2 over here, then I need -7 so that I can get -5. So once you understand the concept, you can easily find out the pairs which we have. Now let's move on to the C part. Now it says again, I need a negative and a positive integer, but the difference should be -3. So in this sense, that should be somewhere like this. So there will be a positive number, so there will be difference, and there will be a minus sign, and I need it as -3. So what do? Let's say if I'll just put it like 4 or something. So when I'll add, I'll be getting plus something. So I should write minus sign something over here. So now what I do is, I'll start up with, let's say, -4. I need minus sign and I need -3. So what I can do is, I can make it as 2. I need minus sign, and I can make 1 as the another integer, because I need 2 integers, out of which 1 should be negative and 1 should be positive. So you can use hit and trial plus what exactly you're doing, what changes can you make, what you thought of, so that you can come up with the final answer. This is something which works like this. So it's not something you remember that if we have difference, we need to write it down. 2 negative numbers should be like this only. So at that time, whatever comes in your mind, you can do it accordingly. So maybe, let's say I started out like this, but after doing 1 or 2 things, I end up with something which is correct. So what I did is, over here, I just wrote it down, any answer, let's say -1, we need minus, so I need to write down 2 over here. Why? Because if I'll ask for -4 or -5, I need minus only. Then to make it as -3, I need something as a negative number only, but they didn't ask me for 2 negative integers. So by watching this, I understood that -4, that means greater than -3 is not working. So what I do is, sorry, less than -3 is not working. So what I did is, I need a number which is, let's say -3, I need a number which should be -2, -2, that should be greater than -3. So in this way, you can work it out what exactly you are looking for. Now let's move on to the third question. It says that in a quiz, team A scored -40, 10 and 0, and team B scored 10, 0 and -40 in 3 successive rounds. Now which team scored more? That is your first question. And can we say that we can add integers in any order? Let's try it out. So if I just write it down for team A, the scores are -40, 10 and 0. So to find out the total score, so team A, we need to add all of them. So we're getting -40 plus 10, which is -30, plus 0, which is -30 only. So scores for team B, 10 plus 0 -40. So 10 plus 0 is 10, -40 is -30. So we can see that team A and B both got the same scores. So which team scored more? We can write it down. Both the teams scored equal. So we can write it down like this. Both the teams scored equal. Now they've asked, can we say that we can add integers in any order? Yes, we can say that, because we have seen that the orders has been changed over here, but the final sum which we'll be getting is exactly same. So we can write it down. Yes, we can add integers in any order, and due to which we can do that? Which property can we use for doing it? Yes, we can add integers in any order. So what is that? By commutative property. We've discussed it in detail. So commutative property. Commutative property says this only: if we'll interchange the order, the final answer sum will be exactly same. Now let's move on to the last question of this exercise. Now it's just fill in the blanks, and you need to make this statements true. So if we have -5 plus -8, now over here -8 is already given. What do we write over here so that this statement becomes true? That means whatever is in the left hand side, that should be in the right hand side as well. So here I missed -5, so -5 would be the number or integer which we will be getting in the blank. Now we have -53. What should we add to -53 so that we can get -53 only? So we'll write 0, as 0 is the additive identity. So if I add 0 to any of the number, I'll get the same number only. Now the 17 plus what integer is equals to 0. Now since we've discussed lot many times that if I need sum as 0, I'll take a negative integer and a positive integer. Same number but with negative and positive signs, I'll get 0. So actually what I'll do is I'll take the additive inverse of 17, which is minus 17, and once I'll solve this, I'll get the final answer, which is 0. Let's move on to next part. Now it says 13 plus minus 12 plus what should be over here so that I can satisfy this. That means 13 plus minus 12 plus minus 7. So what we actually did, we left minus 7. So we used associative property wherein we got 3 integers and we can group them accordingly. So if there are different groups but we have same integers with us, we can make different groups and we'll get the final answer, which should be equal in both the cases. Now the last part says minus 4 plus 15 plus minus 3. Now over here they grouped minus 4 plus 15 and we are left with only minus 3. Again, associative property holds true for integers as well.